Okay, I'm going to start again because apparently the previous memory card I had in was just not fast enough. Hard to believe the speed at which I talk. Anyway, this is my Santa Cruz Chameleon. I'm going to talk to you about it because people apparently find this stuff interesting.
How dare you!
It requires very little artistic or creative energy from me, which is great. So I can just talk at the camera like a lunatic, and you guys can see how I built this particular unit. I bought this as a frame from, I don't know, an establishment in North Yorkshire, I believe, and I threw on it some bits that I had, like the fork. I'll talk about that in a moment, and other bits and pieces I'd lying around. But I built up special wheels for it because, as you can see, this particular unit is of the Singlespeed variety, which is a gas. I'll talk a bit about that. And this is also what I know as the purple bike because it's got purple things on it. Okay, so 2020 Chameleon in aluminium or aluminum. It's, regardless of the year, it's a Chameleon 7. It may even be a 7.1 if that means anything to anybody. The most notable thing about these, of course, is that they have sort of an adjustable dropout system or an interchangeable dropout system. So this thing, it does run boost when it's geared. Okay, if I had geared dropouts on there, but in this configuration with single speed, it's actually 142mm wide in the rear axle. Okay, which is useful. I'll explain that in a moment. But you know, headline, really nice bike to ride. Bizarrely compliant for a, you know, what's clearly in a quite a burly aluminium frame. It's not the lightest thing in the world. This unit is the extra large. I think that's the size. Maybe it's got a number on it. I don't know. I can't remember. But it's you know, it's quite pretty. And I've got some bits and pieces on it from various manufacturers. All manufacturers that I use. You know, I use on my bikes quite a lot. So it's quite cool. So first of all, I think, you know, the most interesting point with this particular bike is that it's single speed, and I live in a part of northern England that is quite hilly. We don't really have the altitude that you've got elsewhere in the world, but everything is let's just call it short and sharp, right? So there's a lot of steep inclines, and you can see here I'm running that's a Hope Evo crankset, and that's a 34 tooth on the front for the 34 tooth sprocket chainring, darn it, on the front, and that is a 23 on the back. So nowhere near your, if you will, utopian climbing ratio of 1:1, but I might do something akin to a treatise on single speed, because I'm not a grinder, right? I'm a spinner for sure, and all my bikes, all my other bikes, even my road bike, you know, I've got 34 on it, so I've got the 1:1, and my gravel bike, I go beyond that. Okay, you know, so I like to spin. I'm a big dude, 105 kilos. Okay, and not in prime physical condition either. You know, getting perilously close to 50 years of age. But this climbs really well. It's just a different kind of climbing. I actually pootled around. I did went to a place near Bolton called Rivington Pike this morning. 450 metres of climbing, all in, 20 kilometres on this, and it was a nice easy day. We didn't go fast, but I didn't push. And some of the inclines, if anybody knows Rivington, some of the inclines are pretty, are pretty severe. Certainly, which would have me on my in my 50 tooth on the back if I was riding, say, my Cotic Flare Max, my big full suspension bike, trail bike. So yeah, don't knock it till you've tried it. Single speed's awesome. It's like it's just like being a kid. It's just like going for a ride on your bike. Back in the 80s or 70s or however old you are, and you just got on your BMX and just went and rode bikes with your friends. It's cool, and it's quiet and lighter than having all the paraphernalia. This thing does get geared sometimes. Sometimes I swap the dropouts out, and I've got a box one group set, one by group set that I put on it with a different set of wheels. So just to talk about these wheels then, because why not? These are I'm just going to try and turn this without messing up the carpet. So this is a Paul Components Word hub on the back, wacky off-road device, I think that stands for. Single speed specific, really awesome. Equal spacing flange to flange, so the spokes are the same size. I built these up myself, these wheels. So it's a Paul Components Word hub with a White Industries freewheel, and it's just a beautiful thing, man. It's just so, you just can't beat quality engineering. It's brilliant. And I've got those. I think I've got Halo spokes, double butted spokes, the cheapest ones I could get, and they are Wilderness Trail Bikes, Com Tough I-29, so 29mm internal width. Got me some purples on there with the tubeless valves, and running me 2.4 29er Maxxis Ardents, which you can't go wrong with them in the UK, to be honest. As an all-round tyre, they just work. The Hope Evo crankset, awesome, and me sort of go-to XT trail pedals, again, can't lose really. We've got a dropper unit, which is a One-Up Components thingamajiggy. See, it's a 180mm length because I'm outlandishly sized and just tall and freakish and all that kind of carry on. This is I don't think it's the most expensive dropper post I've ever bought. I think the first Reverb I bought was probably the most expensive, but this is the only dropper post I've had, because I normally, you'll see over here, I've got X-Fusion, so X-Fusion forks. I'm a big fan of X-Fusion products, and this, I think my X-Fusion, I've got two X-Fusion Manic dropper posts on other bikes, and they're half the price of this. When you got to, because you don't get the lever, you got to buy that separately. So when you bundle it all in, this is substantially more expensive than the X-Fusion ones. But this is the only dropper post I've ever had stick. This thing sticks all the time in that it refuses to come back up, and I've got to either clench my butt cheeks on the seat, wonderful image for you all there, or pull it up, while I'm pressing on the lever. And it's probably just maintenance. It might need a bit of air in it. You can actually adjust the air in these things, but like I say, you're spending 200 quid plus on something, you kind of expect it to work. Otherwise, it's brilliant, and the reach is fantastic. Especially because what I like to do is descending, chill descending, maybe even on a road. You lower it down, and you kind of sort of sit down and lean back like freaking Peter O'Toole or whoever it was that rode the bike in Easy Rider, and just kind of chill and smoke a cigar, whatever you need to do. It's awesome. You know, and never mind what it allows you to do otherwise. Charge spoon saddle, you know, they just, I don't know, my ass likes them, you know. Yeah, so the charge saddle, my butt likes them. They work, and they're cheap, you know. I mean, you can still get them in some pretty cool colours for you know, less than 30 quid, which is great. These bottle cages, for what it's worth, these Lezyne bottle cages, I really like, because they are they're really sturdy, light. I couldn't care less about light and weight. It doesn't really matter, but they're sturdy. They can handle being tightened properly, and they just work. I do ride a fanny pack, which does have space for a bottle, and that's okay. But you know, mountain bikes are supposed to have bottle cages, so it works. Let's have a look over here then. So the cockpit stuff, mainly because I kind of bought this on a budget. That was my intention when I was building it up. But then, you know, when you start buying Paul component stuff, you know, and White Industries stuff and Hope stuff, yeah, the budget just kind of went out the window. But before the sensibility left, you know, I bought some Nuke-Proof Horizon stuff from that place in Northern Ireland. There's a Cane Creek 40 headset in there. I'll talk about that in a minute. That's a shocker. But you know, the Nuke-Proof stuff, the Horizon stuff particularly, is very, very good. And I got these bars because I wanted purple. I was going with the purple thing for what it's worth. And I got these things, and I thought, well, I could only get them in. Is it 31.8? Not whatever it is, just not the newish, if you will, 35 standard, 35 mil diameter standard, or whatever that is. You know, so I got the bars and I got the stem, and it works. And I've got some other stuff, some deity stuff, which is really sexy, and I might put that on, but it's not purples, you know. And we love the purple, you know, it's great. DMR death grips. I think I've got those on all of my, you know, flat bar bikes now. They just work. They're brilliant, and they're inexpensive compared to, you know, other comparable stuff. You know, like the ODI stuff and all that. To this headset then. So this is a Cane. It's an integrated, totally integrated headset. So it's Cane Creek 40. So that means the bearings. The cartridge bearings fit directly into the frame. There's no cups get pressed into the frame, and it's not an inexpensive headset for two bearings and a bit, you know, two bearings, a crown race, and you know, and some bits up here that make the fit. I can't remember, maybe 70 or 80 quid, you know, so not far off. And I was umming and ahhing, should I just get a Chris King one, you know? And I thought, well, nobody's even going to notice that it's a Chris King because there's so little real estate pertaining to the headset itself. You know, nobody'd see it, and if nobody can see it, then what's the freaking point? You know, you might as well just bang in a brand X one. So I bought this one, and the bottom bearing rusted and pitted within 2 months. 2 months, so I had to replace that, and that was 38 quid because you can't buy a bearing. I looked for the right size and all that, and you know what it's like. I've bought too many times. I've gone with a substitute that measures up by spec, but then doesn't work. So you know, I've started to learn that that's a bit of a false economy. So I just bought the thing. And this one doesn't seem to be gritty at all. But the one I got first was gritty out of the box, and I thought, oh, it'll just be a bit of detritus in the races. It'll go away, but it didn't. So this one, it's just better all round. It just seems to, you know, it seems to be better packed. And I took the other one apart, the old bearing apart actually, and it was just an absolute dog show inside there. You know, so if I could be bothered, I'd take it up with the local distributor, but I can't be bothered, frankly. Brake bell, you know, when you ride places, with lots of dual use. So people who are out walking think that cyclists shouldn't be there, regardless of the status of the trail, right? It's just how it is. Bells help with that, because apparently it's less threatening than saying, than screaming at them saying bike behind or whatever. All groovy. Brakes is an interesting setup. I took these brakes off a different bike, and the front brake, eagle-eyed, the front brake is one of them, and the rear brake is one of them, and you should see there's a subtle difference mainly here. Okay, so this is the new XT80 100, is it? And this is the old XT 8000. So when I took this off the other bike, the hose to the rear brake was just it probably would have done, but it was making me feel funny. So I decided to just get a whole new unit and save the other brake for some other application, which is whatever. But XT brakes, they just work. There's that one-up components, dropper lever, which kind of work. Fine. It's a dropper lever. It does what it does. Bum 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 bum. Right, now then, so. The fork. So this is a X-Fusion McQueen rough cut HLR. I actually got this from at Kotick Bikes. I bought a few bikes from Kotick, and I bought this with a Solaris Max. It came with it. I bought a Solaris Max frame a couple of years back, and and that bike's it's done its service, and I've moved the frame on with some cheaper parts. So I built up get somebody into steel, because I wanted to buy a Flare Max. I wanted to buy a full suspension Kotick, which I'll show in another video. So this is I think 34mm stanchions, 130mm of travel. It is adjustable internally. This one needs a service now. I've not serviced it yet, so it needs. I've got the seals and whatnot somewhere, and all the bits and pieces, and I'll do that when I get around to it. But I just can't be arsed really. But this is the McQueen rough cut HLR. So very nice damping. It's got high and low speed compression damping, air shock. Like I say, 34mm, so it's a good boost, 110. So it's a really good trail fork. No complaints. I've had Yaris, I've had Revelations, I've had Lyrics, I've had freaking Judys from the 1990s. This is up there. So these are good units. These are good units. So to match the front wheel, the back wheel that I made there with the Paul Components hub, I wasn't going to lash out 200 quid for a Paul Components front hub. And if I could have got the purples, I would have done, but they don't really seem to sell the purples in Europe, or certainly not in the UK. Brick Lane Bikes is where I get Paul Component stuff. So I just got a Hope Pro 4. I said it's quality stuff, and this stuff is made literally down the road from where I live, which makes it special. And again, the WTB Comtough I-29. Very nice with the Maxis. So I'm matching the tyres on it. I normally go a bit wider at the front. And that's it. So all of this good stuff. It just works. It's good. That needs a service. Wonderful. But this bike just rides like a treat, and it's just the picture of simplicity, And you pick it up and drop it, and it makes nothing more than the noise of me ballsing up the furniture in this room. We can call it furniture, I suppose. You might call it something else, but whatever. It's nice. Now, what I would say, if anybody's going to get one of these, or anybody's got one and they're thinking about fiddling with the dropouts, be warned. And I'll say that because I'm an idiot, and I have now spent £210 on dropouts. Because if you look there, the top bolt is an M6, All right, it's an it's a stainless steel M6 bolt, an A2 or A4, I don't know, it doesn't matter. And the bottom one's an M8. Now, if you surf on the internet and look for torque specs for those bolts, you're either going to go to the right place, which is an exploded diagram on the current Santa Cruz website, or you're going to find a video from 2013. The video from 2013 says tighten all 4 bolts, i.e. those 2 there and the 2 on the other side, tighten them all to 180 pound-feet, which is 20 Newton meters. Now, I was an engineer once, not a very good one, and I know 20 Newton meters is way too much for an M6 bolt. Okay, it's about half that torque spec, and less for a stainless steel bolt. But nonetheless, it was on the Santa Cruz website, and it was a video, even though it was 7 years old, and the dropout was still a QR dropout. I figured, well, it must be the same material, same basic design. I'm going to bang them all to 20. And guess what I did? Yeah, I stripped the threads out of the aluminium component there, which I've resolved in others. These ones are brand new, and I've done these to the right spec once I found the torque settings, which are 11 Newton meters for the M6 bolt, the top one, and 20 Newton meters for the M8 bolt, the bottom one. 11 and 20 with a bit of Loctite 242 on there. Very expensive, stupid, and it's one of them. It's like, I'm scared of flying as well. I know the plane's not going to fall out of the sky. I understand the science behind it, but I'm still scared of flying. I knew that 20 Newton meters was too damn tight. And yet I carried on going with my with a calibrated torque wrench. Don't know. I was sober and everything, just absolute stupidity. But there we go. So if nothing else, that should be clear. So that's that. That's that. Just works. Also bizarre with these dropouts. If you ever work with them again, or you like say you fancy doing it on the single speed dropouts, the brake mount is IS, so you need one of those brakey adapters. On the geared dropouts, which are boost, whether they're for 27.5 or 29, because they're different for all wheel sizes, the brake mounts are post. So there must be a reason. I just haven't sat down and thought about it because I'm not really bothered. But anyway, so that's my 2020 Santa Cruz Chameleon self-built wheels. It is a thing of beauty, and it's just the best thing in the world. Fact. So get some single speed, get on and do it. It's an act of climbing. Becomes more about balance, and it becomes more about discipline and self-control. It's about going as fast as you can, not if I use the right words there. Yeah, it's about going as fast as you are able to, not as fast as you can. It's about having that discipline and control to conserve energy and maintain momentum, even when you might be struggling. So that's going to do it for today, I think. Let me know. I've got more bikes. I'll keep doing these until I run out of bikes, because like I say, it makes me feel better because I'm communicating in this strange, crazy world that we're in at the moment. And and it's and I'm just talking about bikes. I love bikes. So let me know if I should do some more. Well, I'll do them anyway. I don't really care what you think. But thank you. Thanks for watching. Bye.